Welcome to episode 9 of making a Slime Rancher 1 mod using using SRML and SSRML. In this episode, this is episode 9. We will be probably doing the most difficult and longest thing we've done so far, which is creating a zone and placing other objects. Um, I will note the challenge of doing this. There's a lot of challenges that we'll probably go through, and we'll see if we even succeed by the end of today. So, maybe there are easier ways of doing this, but this is the way we're going to be doing it today. So instead of having some tools for making the zone easier, which there's two different methods besides the one I'll be doing today. So today is the long method, which is going to be the most painful method for doing so. Um, anyway, let's just get into it. So my plan and vision for today is we're going to make a zone besides behind the ranch. Um, by the way, I also updated some code regarding the chroma pack in my library mod, so it should look better. So it now looks a lot more like what we want. I also disabled alien mode. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go see the video on chroma packs. A lot of this is going to be finding the objects you want and things like that. For now, I'm going to simply. So I wanted to make it so that you have to go. So that you have to go as far as possible with the jetpack in order to get there. Should be a difficult challenge to get there from behind it. Checking to make sure we have everything we need. Let's go see how far out we're going to be placing things. But that's not what I wanted. And you gotta be kidding me. Alright, I pressed the wrong button and my entire computer gave up on its life. That's a tad bit annoying. Let me go ahead and have that. Let's try this again. This time we're going to actually press what we need to press. We jump off, we go as far as possible. We can do no clip. Do position. And we can just go into our mod file and notate this. I'm going to be doing this in the mod file itself, but ideally you'll create a separate C# file for your zone. So we're going to put in our position, which was 60. Let's do 6019 or 60. Let's do 6018 negative 269. So 6018 negative 269. From here, we need a bridge. We can now come back there anytime we need to. We now need to go find the type of bridge we want. Our secret style from last time. Let's go find the type of platform we want. I was thinking I want it to be a solid, rocky landscape type of block instead of a wooden bridge like this. First, I have to find a good candidate. We can maybe even use this block. Let's use this one, actually. We'll go to F7. You have to have Unity Explorer, which is a mod you can find if you have the Discord server. We're in the reef. What part of the reef are we in? We're in the hub. So let's go down. Sector. This is solid filler. And now we have to go find it. It's called ring. So what we're going to do is we can see the name right here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create another comment. Take this along with its name. I'm also going to take this and instantiate this clone of it is going to be going over to where we were. This isn't going to be exactly where it needs to be, but 60, 18, and negative 269, I believe it was. So we can go back over. And you can already see it. Of course, this isn't exactly where we want it. So let's do coordinates. 60, 18, 200, negative 260. And we're going to go back. Now we're going to Y. Does that look good? As I said, there are easier ways of doing this. I'm just not doing it that way. What's that? Let's angle our view this way. And if I disable no clip, you can land on this and you can go over. I think this position will work fine. Let me go back to no clip. Just check something. Make sure this is a possible jump. You can make it over here. Cool. So now that we know that, we're going to need this position. Save our position that we want here. We can probably just make this 60. Simplify you as well. Just so that we don't have to have such a long. Now we're also going to need our rotation. Again, we're going to have to simplify this down a bit. There we go. That should be good. To confirm that these all still work, we're going to just replace replace the position with this. We'll go ahead and replace the rotation with this. Pretty much nothing. And it still looks plenty fine. So this is our first part of our building. And we're going to essentially just be repeating that process to figure out the rest. We're not going to need that much here. Next, we just need some form of island type structure. So we just need a big ground structure. I'm very lost. Ground here wouldn't be bad, so let's see if I can go find the ground here. Close this. This is called the Cliff Caves. Sector. Main nav. Area plane 01. Let me check something. I go here in F7. Great. This should work. So next we will go ahead and get a second slash. Oh. I don't know what I'm looking for. Next we need to figure out the position again. So we're going to once again instantiate, take it over to 60, 18, 269. Of course, it's not where it's going to be placed. And you can see that this ground looks a little bit goofy. Seems solid. Good question. Wonder if underneath it is. Now I'm going to position it. So we're going to move it back ways. We'll lower it. That's a little too far. Let's get a better rotation, actually. Closer. Where we want it. That looks fine. I will need some rocky walls to make it look better. But you get the idea. I'll probably finish up this zone, making it look prettier afterwards. But for now, we can work with just this. Again, we're going to these values. simplify them where they are super complicated. This shouldn't cause really any changes at all. Maybe this one will. Yeah, this should work. Just a testy zone thing. Just so we can work on it. Should be enough information. So, you may be wondering what all this information is used for. You'll find out soon. First of all, we're going to need to set up when it loads. Now I forgot where, so I'm going to go look it up real quick. We'll put it here. Or it will force itself to be here. That's fine, whatever. We can go to zone code. Actually, it's not here. It's in class 1. It's in the pre-save game mode. So let's do this. Let's copy this. Do it to our tutorial. Do this. Now it's going to error out because we don't have this. And we're not going to be using this anyway. Now we have to run some code. First of all, we have to create a zone. So let me go ahead and copy some crappily made default code I made at one point. So if I can find it, let me look. Caps lock on 3. Let's go in here. Now we're just going to copy this. This is going to give a bunch of errors. So let's go ahead and start. So right here, we just save some objects we want to place, and this is going to be the extents of our zone. I forgot to grab something, actually. We're going to have to go back to find that. So this is called zone name. We're going to rename this to the name of our zone. This is going to be called the crazy cool zone. This is because I forgot to do dot 2. This needs cell name. And we can get rid of this game mode. This, well, let's go ahead and rename you first. Our cell name is going to be our crazy cool cell. And then we're going to call you at the end crazy cool cell. There we go. So a zone inside of Slime Rancher is the actual zone. It's like the moss desert or whatever. Cells are like mini areas within those zones. You can think of places like you can think of different areas, such as earlier we were looking at the different cells. You can see a bunch of examples of them. So just different parts of the zone, really. Anyway, so we have zone name. This is, of course, whatever we're going to be naming our zone, which needs to be a string. This. Um, and then this cell name, zone name. So we're just going to call you the pretty cool zone. We need a zone ID, however. So we can see that we need a zone director.zone. To do this, we can go back up, just copy any old one, do zone director zone. Yep. Now we can go back down here where all these things are airing. I wish that my doors weren't being slammed all the time. Anyway, now we can just go here and put in the zone ID. Keys, crazy cool zone. Now we need a PD ID as well, which of course we can make this just like any other old PD ID. Unique about it. Add it in. Over. So we're gonna call this IDs Pedia. This is position. Now, this is actually what I forgot to get, is partly this. So let's go back in and get a rabbit real quick. I think this video is going to be miserable to convert, but whatever. Luckily, I don't have to edit it if I do everything right. Okay. Anyway. All right, it loaded in. And we gotta go find the center. Difficult part is, where is the center now? So I can just do coordinates 60, 18, 269. And then let's just go out of ways. Roughly over here. Where I'd say our zone is located. We'll just guesstimate and say it's here. Actually, we could just use this. That'd probably be easier. Let's go ahead and just use this. That was a big waste of time. I just think it would be probably better to base it off of that location instead of trying to make a new custom location. Of course, we might need to mess with this, but with all things, it can be tinkered. So new vector 3, we can put this in. It's going to give a bunch of problems. F and F. All right. Now we have the cell. We have to decide its cell name. So this is roughly the center of the zone, or just wherever you want the origin location to be. Anyway, cell name. The cell name is going to be that our cell name will just be crazy cool cell. Really. Is this how we're supposed to do the naming? I don't think it is. Let me go check something. True. Anyway. Um, where is it? Here it is. So yeah, that's what I was thinking. So let's actually change the naming convention here. We're using this naming convention. Um, Normally the naming convention is zone. Uh, let's see, zone crazy cool cool, and then we'll call you cell crazy cool underscore cool. Um, Show on map will be false because for mods this really isn't possible. Target slime count can be something like 8. This is the amount of slimes they'll try to keep inside the cell at a given time. Minimum is the minimum amount it will spawn, which can be something like set it to 1. Max can be something like 4. Cool slime limit, we'll set this to 12. The region set ID, this is things like the difference between the main world, the desert, or the extensions or expansions. So we're just going to set this to home, but you can mess with trying to do it others as well. Now, this is the cell center. We're going to use the same number as we used here for the cell center. And you may have been wondering what that first number we got was for, and that's what this is. We've been using it for other purposes, but that's generally why we got this number. It's for it to be our extents. If I was a good game designer, I would have I forgot. I forgot what I would have done. Anyway, I would have made sure that nothing went over it, but I didn't. It's fine. Whatever. All right. Create objects. The sector. I forgot to put. So I'm just fixing some stuff. I wrote this code originally in Discord, so I didn't actually have something checking all the problems with it. For the rest of this, it should all be fine. And now we have object cell name. I didn't name this, but I should. Let's go ahead and name you objects. Objects crazy cool. And this is where we're going to put our objects in. So now we have this. And we're going to put stuff that we place in here. To start with, we're going to place we're going to place our the two things we got here. So let's go to world objects creation dot bill. Wait, place a normal object. Let me check something to make sure none of these are private. Oh, some of these aren't statics. They really should all be static, but these two aren't. All right, whatever. Place normal object. This is object path and name. This is what object we want. That's why we grab this. I forgot to put you in a string. This is our sector category. Since we're just using a basic system, we're just going to have something called objects. In a more professionally done, you would have all the different categories that you'd see in an actual Slime Rancher zone. But I just use one because it's easier than setting it all up. I don't know if this really matters. We can just set it to 0. I forgot what that does. It doesn't really matter much. We have local position and local rotation and local scale. I forgot to do scale. I think 1 is fine. We'll see. So this should work. There might be some complications, but we should be able to use this. Let's create new 3, and we're going to copy this number we got in. We're going to put it this .g f f. Go ahead and make this look nicer like that. All right. Next, new 3. This is the rotations. That's what the second number is. Oop. F comma, F comma, and just F. Then we have the local scale, which should be, as far as I know, this is 1. I could go check, but I'm going to make an assumption. And now we have to place in our other object, so we can just copy this, paste this, refill them in. One thing is we're going to be using this. We want to grab this object, which is the object we want. If you didn't see me grabbing this, in Unity Explorer, it says at the top the path, and you'll also see its name. So you'll put in its path and then end it with its name. We can make this number 1 just to avoid complications. We already know this vector. It's the vector we've been using for these others. I have no idea who just messaged me, and honestly, I couldn't care less right now. I'm going to put it into focus mode. Anyway, rotation is going to be this rotation right here, which is 0, 0. We can grab this. And we'll also try 1 for the scale. So this should create a zone and place these objects in, theoretically speaking. Actually, there's going to be an error if we run this code. That's because we need something, a new file. I'm going to call this new item, and then we're going to call this zone harmony. And these are harmony patches. Oop, my mouse froze. Zone harmony. So zone harmony is a new one. We're going to go to this and zone harmony code. We're going to go copy all this. I can show you what it all is. So this is going to be one tutorial. And then we have these zone. this is a prefix. I believe it's a prefix. Yeah, it's a prefix of this function. You can go find it, which is used for grabbing region set IDs because it's really weirdly made. And essentially it's saying, all right, if the zone is this zone, then it just gives this and it tells it to not run the rest of the code. So it tells it to not grab the ID again. And if it's not the zone, it tells it to run it like normal. Next is for tracking if you enter a zone. We're going to get is dot crazy cool zone, and then we'll match it to our pedia ID. IDs dot pedia equals zone. So this just makes this postfix just makes sure that it gives you the Slimepedia when it is unlocked. It should be unlocked. I don't think I'll be making a Zonepedia here. I don't think. Actually, I guess I should make a Zonepedia. It's not too complicated. So now that we have that code as well in place, which should all be set up correctly, now we can go ahead and make our zone, run our zone, and see if it works. There's a chance that the local position might give a little problem. If so, we can recorrect for that. That's not the one I want. I want this one. Nope. Now I'm assuming we're already at a stupidly long point in the video. That is correct. We're already 37 minutes in, and we're now just testing. Right, this should be fine, probably. Wait. I don't think I forgot to set anything up. Well, it's always good to have this open. Okay, it looks like it ran fine. It's always good to have your SRML thing open here to be able to look at. And I think these are just, I'm not going to question that. Why is there an extractor in the menu screen? It's wild. And something's wrong. Question is what? Oh, let's see if the zone is here in the first place. It is. Appears the sector wasn't enabled, which is wacky. I don't think these have their location. Well, they have their locations exactly where they're supposed to be. Wait, what? So where are they? These are aligned. These are aligned. let's go check something. Nah, I need to keep that pause. Let's go check something, actually. The sector does not need to be enabled. Or maybe it does. Hmm. Well, the scale is definitely not 1. We can go ahead and copy this so that we can set the scales properly. But this is a mysterious bug that I did not expect to see. And also, that definitely is not 0. Guess I made some assumptions. Um, isn't our zone for our house? The sector is enabled. So this sector should be enabled, but this. Something was up with that. All right, let's apply our changes and check again. So this is just the process, and then we'll get into maybe placing a Gordo. Whoa, what did I just press? All right, I did not mean to do that. I'm gonna build it this way. So I do weird things. All right. So at least our zone did an error. That's a good sign. Because learning how to make zones, when I first learned, I had error after error after error while learning. You may use custom parts. Again, there's other faster and easier methods for making the zone itself. One of these methods involves using Better Build, I think it is, BB. I don't know how easy that method would be, and you would have to talk to people on the Discord to find out how to do it. There's also people who use Unity and make it themselves. So, and get and use an asset bundle, which we'll probably be talking about in the next episode. All right. Let's see if it appears now. All right. Not appear to have. And I think that's because, again, the sector isn't activated, which is a strange bug to be having. Yeah. If the sector activates, oh, that's why I was so confused. Hold this activated. All right. And you can go over here. And our little testing zone exists. But it appears that our sector is not activated, which is odd. It should be. Hmm. Um. It's an interesting problem. Let's see. Why is our sector not named? I mean, we can always just expand our a bit. $50. We can set you to $90. Set you to $200. I don't know if this will work, but should expand the extents. I'm curious about something though in my code. Cell creation. Do I ever create that zone? The object? Go to the zone code. Alright. Well, we can try this. I don't know how to force this to work. I mean, yeah. Where do I create that in there? Alright. So we can try this. If this doesn't work, I don't really get it. Um, it's one of those examples of how come this code works for sometimes, it doesn't work other times, which is a classic Slime Rancher occurrence when you're modding it. So we can go ahead and check. So we'll also be adding a slime spawner and a Gordo to this, I think. So let's see if this fixes the problem. I somewhat doubt it. Yep, that officially doesn't make any sense. So that's an interesting problem. Another thing is we can always force active. Stupid sector. Hmm. Let's see. There should be a legitimate reason for this, though. I can't find it. That should work. I don't get why it doesn't work. We connect them. We created them correctly. Ah, this is a problem and a half. I don't get it. Let's see. Well, I guess that can be left as a homework problem for you all, since even I don't understand why that would happen. Or maybe I'll have it fixed by the time this is uploaded and have fixed it in the library mod. Who knows? For Gordo, a good reference for making a Gordo here would be my mod guide mod. So, boom. We can remove our comments here, the comments from where I copied it from. This is going to be crazy cool. This is what you wanted to produce. Anyway, this is going to be simply our objects. I'm going to call this crazy cool G1. Crazy cool. The way I set these names up, is first the type of slime, or type for Gordos anyway, the type of Gordo. then G for Gordo, which number it is. So if you have multiple, you will number them differently, and the zone it's in. Anyway, now we have IDs. Now IDs dot crazy cool. This is the Gordo ID. This is the position and location which we need to set. I probably should have gone and found this ahead of time, but if we were thinking ahead, but we're not. So you get the good old classic experience of going back and forth a ton. So do. Yep. What we're going to do is we have to go to our zone every single time and enable the sector manually. And for now, since I'm not sprucing this up a whole lot, we can just have the Gordo spawn right here. There's not a way to get your player angle. Like this anyway. 69, 2.5, negative 352. What is that? 5, 62. Right. I believe that the scale is normally just 1. Set its automatic scale. For your rotation, we can go here, here, here. Right, so it's roughly 17.3. There we go. Well, that's only for the player. That however I want. Anyway, I think we'll probably have to adjust this manually afterwards, but we'll see. So this should place a Gordo. Again, I can't, no matter how much I analyze this, I can't figure out what's wrong with it. That's the position of the center, but the x-sense is just how far away. Is that why? Let's try a new strategy. Not like the x-sense matter much. Let's make you positive, and let's just make you make all of them something like 60. Let's do 100 for all of them. Not 1,000, 100. And see if this works. I doubt this will fix our problem, but everything's worth a shot. And, trying two things at once, if they're for two different unrelated things, is really good. If you're trying two things at once, both solve the same problem, it can be a bit of a bad practice because you won't know which solve the problem, so you can start getting excess fixes that don't actually do anything. Unless it's something that'll probably be useful to have and could potentially help for a future problem. We have been over the hour mark for a little while. This is unsurprising. This is our longest video by far. And was the last video I had originally planned. I think I'll do a brief video covering asset bundles as well, though. Brief video on asset bundles will probably be good. And some information regarding custom models and things like that, custom sounds. It worked. So the Gordo is not quite angled correctly enough, but look at him. He placed in, and this did in fact fix our issue. Stents should not be negative. And it's just how far away from the zone you'll still be able to see it. All right. We can go ahead and check this. This is our Gordo, and it looks like it's probably because this is not just 0, 0, 0, which would have worked perfectly fine. So let's go ahead and set that final one to 0. We were fooled by the camera's angles. You don't really need to put F after a 0, but it's fine. It works anyway. Now, if we give a heartbeat veggie, we give ourselves 20. We get our slimes. I'm going to add something else as well, besides our slimes. That's going to be the crate. Crate. Game object, it works. So we can get the crates out of it as well. Get some of our slimes. No. Okay. Yeah. What else can we add? Objects creation. We're not going to do a plot. What was the other object that I had? Gadget sites. I could do a gadget site. but I guess I'll leave it as a task for you. I'll go ahead and explain everything with this in specifics. This creates a new object called the replacer. Um, if I understand it correctly, if I remember its usage in here, replacer only showed up for certain objects, and you'd see a replacer show up, and it would be used. So, in reality, you probably wouldn't want your replacer just called replacer. You might want multiple, and the idea is you use a replacer. You put it where you want it, and all that with this, and then you're going to use the replacer, get the component we added right here, and use one of these two functions to build it. So we'll see if you can figure out how to make gadget sites out of all the stuff here. Next, we can go ahead and add a slime spawner as well. I have a function for it. If I remember correctly, it's broken, so I'm going to go ahead and teach you the real way of doing it. So, directed slime spawner. Here. Unless I've made a grave mistake, then maybe not. Alright. So, directed slime spawner is a what's game object 48? Oh, this is just an object for the spawner. Let's go ahead and add world blank. What is this function actually? Before I use it. Yeah, it's just a basic object. Blank. And we're going to, I think this function turns a game object. We're going to call you game object spawners. And we probably should use this convention. So spawners. And we'll set you to spawners. Now we have to fill this stuff in. Name is going to be position. We don't have the positions and stuff yet. So I guess we should go grab it real quick. So another time loading the game. This is a very long video. I'm sorry for the length. However, I wanted a tutorial on everything zone that I could. While that's going, let's discuss something. Actually, never mind. Well, I actually need that, but whatever. Actually, does it matter? I don't think it matters where the spawners is located. Yeah, but let's go ahead and find the location of where our spawner will be. Here. 50, 2.4, negative 350. Let's go down. Where am I going? Okay. I got lost in the code for a second there. New type. That should still work. I don't know why that suddenly decided to didn't like exist. No, okay, yeah. Well, this doesn't matter. Yeah. Anyway, we can just do new vector 3, new 3, new. It don't matter really. We can leave this here. We don't actually need this to be a for each anymore because there's only one. But if you have multiple spawners, you have to add multiple here. You could also set custom spawn effects and whatnot here, but I won't be. This is if you want, you can add multiple here. If you want multiple spawn locations in your zone, we're only going to be doing one for this example. This is set up for multiple, so it will go through each one, setting the parent correctly. This is going to be setting the location of this spawn location. We got the number a second ago, which was negative 50, negative 50, positive 50. I think it was regular 2.5, and then negative 312, or 315 it was. Yeah, that's right. We can set this to 2f radius. This is how far away from this location it can spawn at, and I'm going to go ahead and keep that the same. Now we have constraints. So we have this, which is this is a constraint of how many. This is the total weight for this slime set. I don't remember. There's a lot of complicated stuff in here, and you can mess around with it yourself. We're mainly just going to be messing with the members in here for now. So you can see this. You can see what all the code looks like. I'm not writing all this code by hand again. So if you want to write this code, you're going to have to stare at it for a long time. Anyway, so the weight is similar to the weight before. Higher weights are more common than lower weights, and these are all relative to each other. So we can set what slimes we want to spawn here. Let's go with a base slime. Let's go with a fun one or a basic one. Let's go with a rock slime. Rock slimes with a 1F. We can set rock slimes as the base. Then we'll have crazy cool as well. And we'll have these spawn in about half, not as much, a lot less. So relative to this, it's going to be a lot lower. We'll also have IDs dot super epic slime. And super epic can be something like this super rare slime to spawn in. Right? This is if you wanted to be feral or max agitation. We're not going to do that. This is the weight of the slime sets. I think this is if you have multiple spawns constraints, you can have those weighted. And this is if there's only a certain time like area. So if I wanted to, I could set it to day or night. There's also custom. I haven't used that before though. So that should be good to set up a spawner. Since we actually made a crate for our zone, we can also set something else up, which is crazy cool zone git component zone vector dot dot crate prefab equals crate. This is just so that the crate prefab will be this. Otherwise, it'll give some kind of weird, wacky warning. But we'll just set it to that. So it'll have our crate. So this should make a slime spawner, just what we wanted. So we can have slime spawning in here. A lot of them will fall off because we haven't prettied up our zone yet, and that will take a long time, so I didn't want to do it this year today. But I will probably do it afterwards, just to make sure our zone looks nice. And again, there's other methods for actually making the zone itself that you might want to follow, so that's a bit easier. This video is getting on to absolutely behemoth levels of time, and it's going to be a pain in the butt to upload. However, I'm going to keep it all in one because this is all one coherent thing, and I don't feel like editing this video or splitting this video up even into two parts. So episode 9 is going to be one parter, just the longest video ever. Although it might be shorter than some of the two parters that we have so far together. However, those had more of different things about them. All right, looks like we have an error. This is one of the common ways that Slime Rancher will error out. Let's look at what it's complaining about. Enable only. What? This is a wild error. I have no clue what this error is on about. We can quit this, by the way. We don't need it spamming errors and creating a ginormous file. However, I don't know what this is on about. I do believe that we have both of these as publicized. Yeah, both publicized. Does simple SR mod library have publicized? Yeah. Okay. That was the most unclear error I've ever seen in my life. It must be these two. Did I have a special reference to do this? Because I select these fine. If I, for now, I might just see if this is the issue by just removing these two. That works. It might be because multiple zones are trying to do that. Let's see. I don't know. This is getting absurd. All right, let's see if this destroys the game. Did I? Actually, I don't know if I. Oh my goodness, I forgot to do this. So let's go ahead and quit you. That might error out. I don't know. I might have some issues with that. All right, try this again. So we'll see if this fixes our little issue here. And you have to deal with a lot of these stupid type of errors when you're making zones and trying to do something. So when it comes to crops, you can make them. They're not too difficult to make. I'd suggest just asking about them on the Discord. To be honest, since this video is getting so long, I guess we could try to cover something like oh, how do you make? Let's get away from this. Oh wait, this isn't gonna be here. Isn't it main? I don't know. Oh, let's go up to Wikipedia. I don't know. I don't know where it went. It just has exploding. It worked. All right. Let's do I don't know how to force them to spawn in. House. Got 2 achievements for that. Cool. I should not have been dashing. don't make it. And it doesn't look like our spawner wants to work. Um, what is randoms? Um, why do these all have to have all these stupid inputs? Alright, I can't get this to work. Why are you not spawning things in? One thing is I should probably set the thing up correctly. I don't know how, but I forgot to do this. What's the object spawners? Spawners dot transform dot set parent objects trans you objects dot. Oh, I might have to. I don't know. I don't know what to do about this. This is getting painful to work with. Can't figure out where I set up the. Find modded pedia IDs dot net. Okay, I created this thing here. So create zone sign pedia. You should be able to figure it out from this. I had to add another one because apparently I didn't add it correctly over there. That's how you add the presence, which is what shows up in Discord when someone's in a zone. Let's see what else. And then this is me just setting it up and registering it. So setting the ID, adding the lookup between the two, all of this. That's just the general gist of all of it. If you wanted to know how to make pedia, it's pretty basic. It's pretty much just like any other pedia. So I think did I get this out? I think this is going to be where I'm going to end this. Adding crops, placing crops is also not that difficult. So let me just show you something quick. So if I go do something quick again. So you see this is the patch. So one thing I do is I change the name. Wait, what? I changed the name. Did that. This should fix it actually. Because I think the reason it wasn't spawning anything in is because it didn't know what zone it was part of. Okay, so this is the spawn effects thing. I'll have to look into spawn effects. Give an update on that because I don't know what's wrong with it. Anyway, this doesn't have what I thought it would be though. Yes, I changed the name. Actually, I bet I know where it is at. Class 1. So I set what's in it here. So on save. So for on save game loaded, set pre-save game load, which we were using, I will go through all the spawn resources, looking for ones that are named this. And here I change the name here. This is all already done for you by the function we were using to place stuff in. All you have to do is grab the game object and then change its name to alternate, or not alternate, to whatever you want using this type of format. Anyway, I think I'm going to be done. I can't handle any longer. I hope you learned something. Of course, there's so much more with zones. Zones is a very complicated and big subject to tackle. This is kind of more of an introduction to zones. If you're wanting more information on how to do zones and place objects, I suggest talking on the Discord. I can probably help with certain problems, and a lot of it's trial and error. So, uh, good luck. Good luck, mate. See ya.